Hello everyone, it's Blockhead. Today I built a clock that actually changes the time. As you can see, when you rotate, the sun in the sky actually moves with it. It's pretty cool, and it took me a while to get the timings right, but it actually was pretty nice. And as you can see, it actually keeps the line right in the center with the dark on the bottom, the day on the top, and it'll tell you the time with the clock even when it's still rotating. I thought it was a really cool idea since clocks in Minecraft are kind of useless since there's very few times we actually use them. But if you were to make one like this where it actually changes the time, it's a lot more fun to use. So back here is how it works. It's kind of confusing. It's pretty simple though, at the same time as being confusing. This comparator right here, whenever the item frame is tilted, actually causes a new signal to go out. And every single time it gets stronger, it makes a new piston pop up, powering every single one going down the line. And then once you get all the way to the end, there's actually another redstone thing that when it does the last one over there, it pushes this block out of the way, which means that when you do this again, it then can re-trigger the first one, meaning that you can restart. It took me a little longer than you would think to build actually, because every single one of these has to have a certain daylight time that corresponds with how this looks over here. So if you just want to go off my tutorial, kind of just like guess on the stuff, but just come back and look at these numbers, you can. But if you want to see how I built it, I'm going to show you a quick tutorial how. I'm going to keep this a really short video, probably in like 2 or 3 minutes. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, first of all, you need to build a place for the clock to go. I'm just going to build a kind of simple thing right here with the walls, and then you're going to need to make sure you have a space for the comparator to go as well underneath of it. So I'm going to put the item frame here and the clock here. If you look up from this angle, you can see that I actually need to put the comparator directly behind it so that I can read this a lot better. Next, you're just going to need to build a row. It's going to be 8 blocks like this, and then another 8 blocks here, and another 8 blocks here. You're going to want to run a redstone line down this pathway right here, and then add comparators that are facing away from the redstone line going down here. You can tell which way they're facing by the arrow that's on them. I'm sorry, you don't need to have the one that was here or this one right here either. And then you want to have pistons that go up like this right here, and then you're going to want to put some redstone blocks on top of the pistons right here. Already you can see if we cycle through the clock just by clicking on it, it'll actually make the pistons go all the way up. And then once they've all been triggered, they'll all come back down. To hook up the first one, as you can see right here, it's actually a little bit more complicated, and you're going to need to go around it like this. You can actually go directly behind it for a while right here, and then you're going to want to staircase up to it, but it cannot be directly next to the other piston, or else it will break that as well. Once you're done with that, it should look something like this. Then bring the redstone line all the way back to here, and then you're going to need the repeater at the end right here and make sure it's facing away. Now, as you can see with all the redstone blocks placed in, when you flick this lever right here, it'll make them all go up one by one. And then for the very last one, when that one goes up, it'll also push this one out of the way, meaning that when you go back to 1, it'll bring it back, meaning that it triggers the first one again, because these command blocks are only triggered once, and that's the first time that they get touched by redstone. They have to be no longer touching redstone and then get touched by redstone again in order to trigger again. Then what you're going to want to do is place command blocks on top of every single redstone block that you've placed. If you do it while shifting, then you don't open the interface and you can just click on the edge and then it'll place. But if that's too tricky, you can just place some temporary blocks on top and place them on top. Now all you need to do is enter in the commands to make the daylight actually change. The first command block needs to say time set 6000. So just type it in, time set 6000. The second command block needs to be set to time set 2500. The third command block needs to be set to negative 1000. The fourth command block needs to be set to negative 3250. The fifth one needs to be set to 18,000. The sixth one needs to be set to negative 8,850. The seventh one needs to be set to negative 11,250. And then the eighth one, the final one, is set to negative 14,000. Now you've built your own clock that can change the time whenever you click it. Also, a little bit of bonus for you guys who stuck around for this long in the video. There's another command you can use called /time query, or query, I don't know, and then type day. You can actually see what day your world's on. My day says it's day 0 because I've actually been resetting it a few times in accident. But if you're in a different world and you want to see the day, then try typing that command. For instance, on my server world that I'm working on building, if I run the exact same command, time query day, I'm on day 153.